Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today I am back at it again with some more new update content. Today we are going to be playing on the Path of Legends, the new ladder mode, and I'm going to be showing you guys some new meta decks that have emerged with the Monk and Phoenix. So, you know, it has been quite a few days since the update has dropped now. So what do you guys think of the update in general, now that there has been some time for it to settle? Personally, I feel like it's honestly quite a good update. Obviously, they called it the biggest update of the year because it has quite a lot of content. We did get daily tasks and a bunch of nice quality of life improvements. We did get this new ladder mode, which I'm not sure. I haven't really warmed up to it yet, but we'll see how it goes, I guess. I do prefer the old system with ranks and, you know, top 10,000. I really think that should be added back, even if it has to be in this mode. But I mean, we kind of just have to make do. Obviously the trophy road is still there, but it's just a very casual format now, and there aren't any seasonal rewards tied to it. We did also get the new cards, the Monk and the Phoenix, and obviously since I'm an Expo player, my first few videos with these cards, I guess, after the update, was trying them out in Expo Cycle. What else would I do, right? We also got the Deck Explorer, which is actually kind of interesting. I personally don't really have a use for it because I just use Royale API, but I think this can be a great thing for newer players who need help with building decks. And I think we got a few other quality of life improvements. I'm not entirely sure on every single one. Supposedly they fixed drop glitch for good, which is an amazing thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the update now that we've had some time. I think it's honestly, like I said, it's quite a good update, but I just wish they would balance these two cards because they are very strong. And I also hope that the new ladder format works out. Those are my only two gripes with the new update, I guess. Otherwise, I think it's great. It's great for casual players. You know, the new king levels are going to be really nice for matchmaking, and I just hope everything works out. But yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well. I'm honestly doing quite well myself. I've been feeling pretty good about things in general over the last few days, so that's obviously always a really nice thing. I've just been feeling, I guess, a bit more happy and trying to deal with my issues like health problems and trying to do my best. So it's been going pretty well. Hopefully this kind of lasts and it would be really nice. But as I said, today I am back at it with some more new update content, and I would like to play more Path of Legends. So let me know what you guys think as well of Path of Legends content, because obviously my main form of content that people enjoyed was ladder pushing, you know, competitively with 3.0 Cycle. So I'll probably be pushing Path of Legends. Let me know if you guys enjoy it. Like, I guess I'll just be pushing to different leagues and stuff. Not sure how else to do it. But today I want to show you guys some new decks. So I obviously played with Expo, but there are obviously a bunch of other decks that have been doing really well with these new cards being introduced. And so I have three decks for you today that I want to show. First up, we have Splashyard. Second off, we have Royal Giant. And lastly, we have Minor Poison Control. So all of these decks kind of have slightly different playstyles, so depending on the player that you are, you can pick and choose one and see if it suits you the best. I'll be playing games with all three of these today on the Path of Legends again, and I'll also be including links to all of these decks in the description below if you are interested in copying them, of course. So hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get into a brief deck breakdown of each of the decks. I'll be doing them as I play them. So first I'll be playing Splashyard for a few games, and I'll be breaking it down. I'll do the same for the other decks, of course. This is kind of similar to my global tournament videos where I showcase, you know, 5 best decks for the global tourney. And yeah, so first up we do have Splashyard, and so this is going to be a pretty interesting one. With the inclusion of the Phoenix and the Monk, I feel like this deck has just become really strong. I feel like Phoenix and Graveyard synergize so well together because when Phoenix dies, obviously it spawns an egg, and if the egg hatches, it will kind of wreak havoc and respawn as another Phoenix. And that pairs so well with Graveyard because the Phoenix can tank for the Graveyard, and then when the Phoenix dies, the Graveyard skeletons can tank for the Phoenix's egg, and a new Phoenix will emerge, reborn, and it'll just destroy the opponent. So they need to overcommit a lot on defense against this push, and Graveyard in general has been probably one of the biggest winners. I've seen Graveyard decks literally everywhere with the Monk and the Phoenix, so I think that this is a very easy to play deck if you guys are just looking for one like that. And you can obviously play with the Skeleton King. I actually think it's more popular with the Skeleton King as the champion slot, but I personally prefer the Monk because it's just such an overpowered card as well with its ability to reflect. You can just deflect a lot of stuff, like a Sparky, for example. You can literally deflect a Sparky back at itself, and it'll just blast itself almost to death. And you can also use the ability, the Pensive Protection, I believe it's called, yeah, with the damage reduction on your opponent's side of the map while you have a graveyard to just tank for the graveyard for that much longer. So this is going to be my first deck. I think it's super easy to play and really, really useful and just fun overall. I have actually been playing Path of Legends on my main account, if I can just find it to show you guys. Have not played the new Trophy Road at all. Actually, okay, wow, quite a lot of people at reset. As you can see, I've already reached Master 3, which is alright. It's kind of high up, I guess. There's still a little bit more to go. I'll be in Champion soon, but yeah, I've been playing a bit. But on this account, I was feeling like maybe I should just record more of my latter videos on this account. I'll see which one I do, but again, let me know what you guys think about general Path of Legends content. But yeah, let's get into it. Again, apologies for the long intro like I had in yesterday's video as well, but just wanted to talk about a few things. But found our first match against Cabo del Mazo. Let's give the good luck. And this hand is interesting. I think I want to go for a Barb Barrel first play if he doesn't do anything. And he does go for a Goblin Barrel, so I'm just going to try and activate King with Tornado. Obviously, a big part of Splashyard is the Tornado and just its defensive power, the deck in general. So we do see a Goblin Barrel plus Magic Archer. This already kind of looks like a off-meta, unconventional type deck where it's not really going to be any kind of meta deck, I guess. And okay, here comes a really big push, but here's where the Monk is really going to shine, because I'm going to pop the ability right now. As you can see, the Monk is going to just tank a lot. He's going to soak up that entire E-Barb. And one E-Barb is going to be on tower. I'm going to let it go because it's only going to get one hit. And then I can actually counter push with this Phoenix. And King activation helped as well on defense there. And this should be a really good push right here. I'm going to Tornado the Skarmy right away. As you can see, Phoenix 1v1s bats and wins. And then Phoenix is going to die. And this is exactly what I was talking about. I'm so happy I get to show it in the very first match. It literally respawns because the graveyard was tanking for the Phoenix. And just like that, we've already won the game. Literally. I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, overconfident or anything. I actually already misplaced my barrel by one tile, but it's fine. But Splashyard has such strong defense that if you just have to defend for the whole game, you can pretty much do it against any deck. So just going to poison off this Magic Archer. I believe this Phoenix was a respawned one, so yeah, reborn Phoenixes don't drop eggs. Only the first Phoenix does, which is still really broken. I saw some people in my last video where I talked about how Phoenix broke Clash Royale. I saw some people saying that they agreed with me, you know, it's ridiculous, but I also saw some people a bit upset that I was complaining so much. And I mean, I do understand, you know, it is a new update, maybe give it time to see how things go, but obviously, like I said in that video as well, I'm a person who really enjoys balance, and I am just quite passionate about it, and having a fair game where, you know, lots of archetypes are viable. So I just think this update has kind of broken the game anyway, with these two cards being so strong. But that being said, obviously, you know, we just have to deal with it if you want to still play the game. Like, these cards are in the game, and so that's why I'm going to make videos like these for now, where I just showcase some of the best ways that you can utilize these new cards. I should have actually popped my Monk ability instead of poisoning the Magic Archer, maybe, because it would have deflected the shots back, but it's still okay. I'm going to try something really funny here. I'm going to try and go for a Graveyard and then Monk in the pocket, and you'll see how strong it is, because I'm going to do it right about now. Graveyard, Monk in the pocket, and then as you can see, the Monk soaks up both towers, and then it's going to deflect the shots back, so it's going to soak so much damage up. This is the other thing I was talking about with the Monk, where it just survives so long and it can tank for the Graveyard just like that. And literally we got the second crown because of how strong that push is. So that just goes to show, you know, how incredible the Monk is in many ways with its ability. And we are going to get some mastery rewards, pretty nice. Got my Graveyard here. And we did actually get a third Graveyard mastery task. I wonder if this was one of the ones added with the update. I think it was. Because I know they added a bunch of level 3 mastery tasks with the update, but we are going to get a reward for that, 50 fireballs. I'll take it, very nice. And so golden steps, how they basically work are, if you have a golden step, it's basically a threshold where you have a safety net, I guess. I think that's the best way to describe it, where you can't tilt below this. So even if I lose, I'll always be at step number 4. Whereas all these stone steps, they could break, then you go back down 1 step. So it's kind of an anti-tilt mechanism, again, like I said in the other video. And it's an interesting feature. Golden steps get more scarce and rare as you progress through the leagues, which makes sense as well. It should be harder to have success in the higher leagues. But yeah, they are a pretty nice feature. My opponent gives the wow. Not sure if it's because he recognizes me or because of my badges on my banner. But just going to Ice Whiz the back first play and see what's up. We do see a Mega Minion, so unfortunately for him, Phoenix is basically a glorified Mega Minion, better in almost every single way, so they should do pretty well. Okay, goes for a Giant. Monk actually does pretty well against troops like these. So Giant, Royal Giant, as you can see, you place the Monk, and it's going to push them back. And I'm actually tempted to Graveyard, but I might Graveyard with the Monk instead, because I know he's going to respond. Yeah, he does respond. I'm going to NATO the E-Wiz into this lane, and then I'm just going to Graveyard with this Monk, I think. And, okay, the Dark Prince is going to survive, but I'll just soak the entire E-Wiz, and then this should basically be Tower. This looks like it's going to be Giant Double Prince. Going to pop my ability. As you can see, this is the other thing I was talking about with this deck, which is why I think it might be better than Skeleton King. As you can see, guys, we are literally winning in the first few minutes of each match. That's how strong these decks are against opponents who don't have these cards. Also, some people did ask me how I unlock the cards. For Phoenix, my friend unlocked it, so he just traded it to me, and we traded it amongst ourselves for alt accounts, and then I used magic items to upgrade it. For Monk, I saved up for the past Royale tier 30 chest, and that's how I got it, because it's a guaranteed champion, and the only one I don't have is the Monk, so I think it prioritized it. My opponent already gave the good game. I think he might have just given up, actually, which is pretty funny, but yeah, like, this is literally what these new cards have done to this game. So, I mean, again, if you guys don't like complaining, I apologize, but I'm sure you can see why, right? Because, like, this stuff is just not fair. It's just crazy. But anyways, that is going to be a 3-crown with Graveyard because my opponent gave up. Against Giant Double Prince, a deck that I really dislike, actually, so I'm actually really happy to have a great matchup against it because, you know, with normal 3.0 cycle, that deck destroys us. So that's a nice feeling for sure. I actually beat it on my other account with Monk Bow. I was playing Expo with Monk and Phoenix, and yeah, like those cards just completely changed the tide of so many matchups. Anyways, though, another nice Mastery collection. I think I'll play 3 games with each deck, because matches should be relatively quick, and I guess I'll make this kind of a longer video again, just to give some spotlight to these decks, you know. And I'm not the best, because obviously I main Expo, but I have been playing this game for quite a long time. I have a fair amount of experience, so I'm pretty decent with these other decks as well. So we do see a Sparky right now, and this can be hilarious, guys. I'm actually just going to Monk at the bridge right now, and I think this should work out unless he bridge blocks it. I'm going to pop the ability right now, and look at this. Literally look at this. It deflects the Sparky shot back to itself, and it splashes a tower. The tower damage is reduced, but that is just so ridiculous. Like, look at that play, and I got so much damage, like, I guess not that much damage, but I still got quite a lot because the Monk deflected the tower's shots as well. So, I mean, and the Sparky's already gone. So I'm just going to Graveyard with this Phoenix. I don't know if he gave up already. Okay, it looks like he didn't. But here we get to see the Phoenix Graveyard in action again, which is what I talked about. So I'm going to poison the Wizard off, and then here, as you can see, the Graveyard was, okay, unfortunately the Wizard did splash the egg, but the Graveyard was tanking for the egg, so if the Wizard didn't get that splash off, we would have gotten a new Phoenix, and it pretty much would have taken his tower right there. So since he has Sparky, I think he might have Giant or Goblin Giant, and because of that, I'm going to hold on to my Tombstone instead of cycling it. We do see a P.E.K.K.A, interesting. By the way, I think Bar Barrel, it always gets 1 hit, but I think at level 12 it gets 2 hits. I might be wrong, but I remember that happening to me earlier. It was pretty funny. Okay, another Sparky push. I think I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm not going to Monk right into a P.E.K.K.A, of course. So I'm just going to play a bit patient for now, get a Tombstone down, and then let the Phoenix put in work. Actually, I might just Poison. I might just try and defend this without the Monk, because poison value is a lot. Phoenix is going crazy right now, and as you can see, like, you can still defend without the Monk. So let's say I had Skeleton King in the deck. That would have worked totally fine, because I didn't use my tank card in that defense at all. So Monk is really good, but again, this deck can work with Skeleton King if you guys want to try it out. Or if you don't have either champion, you can even use a Knight or a Valkyrie, honestly. Like, Splashyard is such a good deck. Even before these cards came out, it's always just been a very consistent deck. And I'm actually just going to Graveyard with this right here because I do have the Monk tanking. I'm going to pop the ability. I also have a Phoenix counter pushing, so should do pretty well. And then just going to poison the E-Wiz. Phoenix is going to town on the Lumberjack, and his tower is getting very low. I did commit quite a lot to that push, but his tower is pretty much dead at this point. It's just one more Graveyard, and it's going to be gone. And Wizard does walk in front of the P.E.K.K.A, unfortunately for my opponent, so I'm just going to be able to get a really nice defense off. Going to put my Monk down now, and looks like the Sparky's targeting the Tombstone Skeletons. I'm going to wait a little bit to activate the ability. Hopefully I did hit the Sparky. Nice, I did. So that's just going to be game. I'm going to Graveyard Poison. As you can see, untouched towers, literally undefeated, and like these cards are ridiculous. So this is going to be the first deck, guys. If you just want an easy to play deck, where generally just want to defend and then counter push if you have like a nice Phoenix going down or a Monk going down, or if you think it's a good opportunity, this is a really nice deck, and honestly I feel like it's quite an easy deck to pick up. So yeah, that's the first one. Next up we have the Royal Giant. And Royal Giant is always a really strong card. In fact, before this update, a bunch of pro players were tweeting on Twitter requesting for it to get nerfed. I was actually one of them. Not that I would consider myself like a pro player like some of the others, but just a bunch of people on Twitter were tweeting that they want Royal Giant to get nerfed because it's so good, it's so versatile, it always does well in every single meta, and they're always viable decks. And with Goblin Gang, it kind of pushed it over the edge with that Royal Giant Goblin Gang Skeleton King deck. And this is kind of a variation of that deck. So RG is always played with Fisherman because Fisherman is so good. It not only does it provide the King Tower activation utility, but it also helps whisk away any troops on their side of the map, say for defense. So let's say I'm against a P.E.K.K.A deck. It doesn't even hard counter me because I can just Fisherman to pull the P.E.K.K.A off my Royal Giant onto my side, and then have like Zappies or something take the P.E.K.K.A out. Normally it would be like a Skeleton King or Skarmy or something, but yeah, really nice. You do have the Zappies in here. This deck, actually, I got it from Royal API as the highest win rate Royal Giant deck with Monk and Phoenix. And it actually had the Hunter in place of the Zappies, but I switched Zappies in because I feel like Zappies have been such an underrated card for so long, and they do super well against the Phoenix and Monk as well. Because Phoenix, they stun it, so it does really well against the Phoenix. And then Monk, it also doesn't get deflected by its ability. So Zappies are a very good card right now, and I feel like they are just really useful again. So I decided to switch them in myself. You guys can try either version, I guess. Fireball Log, very versatile spells. Monk Phoenix, you obviously know this combination. If these cards weren't in the deck, the Monk would be something like a Skeleton King, and the Phoenix would be something like a Hunter or an Archer Queen. That's generally what it would be like, or a Mother Witch maybe. And then we do have Goblins in here, which is a bit weird, but they were recently buffed actually. And now, as you can see, the count is 4, so they are actually quite solid. Goblins got buffed to have 4 Goblins right now, and so they've actually been seen in quite a few decks, and they do actually provide quite a nice counter to Graveyard as well. And since I said Graveyard is doing super well right now, I feel like they're quite a good counter pick to the meta in general, so they're doing well in this deck as well. So RG Fisherman, always a solid deck in every meta. Let's see how we can do with it with Monk and Phoenix. So we found our game against Chair. He does have P.E.K.K.A on his profile, so if he is going to be playing a P.E.K.K.A deck, hopefully I can show you guys what I was talking about with the Fisherman strategy. But looks like, okay, he does go for the Bar Barrel. Just going to Goblins. As you can see, we have 4 now. I feel like it's such a weird thing. I'm not used to it at all. But they are actually going to counter push and do some damage to the tower. So Bar Barrel plus Baby Dragon could be Splashyard, could be Golem. Golem should actually be a really good matchup for me. And Inferno Dragon, so this could also be like Balloon or something. I think I'm just going to pop my Monk's ability because it's just worth it for 1 elixir to get that tower damage, I feel. It's like almost 100 damage or so I think it's just worth it. I do see a Lumberjack, so yeah, I think it is going to be that Lumberloon deck, Lumberloon Freeze. And I'm just going to Phoenix once my Zappy starts targeting the Inferno, and Phoenix should do a really good job right here. Right now his hand is actually pretty bad, and Phoenix isn't getting targeted by the tower, which is huge, so I actually think I'm going to go in right here because I have a Phoenix counter pushing with this RG. And he does go for the Bar Barrel, but as you can see, Phoenix devours the Bar Barrel. It attacks so fast. And right here, Phoenix does go into the egg, but it's probably going to respawn. Yeah, it does respawn back again because the RG was tanking for the egg. So really, really nice stuff there. I'm going to go Goblins for this Lumberjack, and then Zappies up high for the Inferno Dragon, because I want to keep my Monk alive if I can help it. And okay, looks like it's basically taken out, but it's fine because we still defended pretty well. He does have to respond to these Zappies, does so with the Bowler. and we do have a Phoenix if he ever wants to go in. So it's not like I have to worry about wasting my zappies. I can always Phoenix on the balloon if I need to. And I want to try and activate King off of this bowler if I can. He does go for the balloon right now, so I'm going to Phoenix on it right now, and hopefully I get the activation. Going to fireball the balloon back instantly, because yeah, I knew he would freeze. And we do take one hit, but it's really not a big deal. I'm actually going to go in right here, because we have a Fisherman, we have a Phoenix, we just have a really sizable counter push. And Phoenix is going to get born again if it dies. Or, since the RG is tanking, it might just take out that entire Inferno Dragon. Or pretty much, at least. And RG does actually take tower. As you can see, Royal Giant is just such a good card as well. Like, it has a lot of HP, it just does a very good job. It does go for the push right here. Going to pop my ability. As you can see, the bowler's boulders are getting reflected back at it. Going to fireball the balloon back on defense, and he can't even afford to freeze. So again, really nice stuff right here. And then I'm just going to RG in the pocket because I have a nice counter push coming in. Plus he just used his bowler, and I think he gave up actually, so... yeah, really nice first win against Lumberloon. If you guys struggle with Lumberloon, RG, I feel like it does pretty well. I'm not actually sure because I don't know what the matchup is like on top ladder. But I feel like Phoenix helps a lot, and I feel like Zappies were super helpful there as well against the Inferno Dragon, whereas if I had Hunter, I wouldn't have had any response to the Inferno Dragon at all. So I actually really like that substitution on my end. And Fireball on defense, don't be afraid to do it. It is worse since they did nerf the Fireball's knockback, unfortunately, a few months ago, but it still works out pretty well. So we do hit another gold step, and we are actually getting pretty close to Challenger 3, so really nice win there, and I think it's going to work out really well, because I think if we get all the wins with all these decks, we should end out at Challenger 3 exactly, so let's see if I can continue to do well. Found our next match against what looks to be a Japanese player. We do see a Goblin Barrel, so it looks like it might be Logbait. Logbait is generally quite a hard matchup for RG actually, but let's see if Monk and Phoenix can kind of turn that in our favor. Bomb Tower as well. Don't like the look of that actually, because yeah, it is going to be quite hard. I think I'm just going to RG the back. I could fireball it, but then if he has like a princess, I'd like to fireball the princess. So he does rocket my RG, which is actually quite aggressive considering it's single elixir. Normally that is a good play in double. He might still be able to get away with it, but we'll see. And I'm actually going to Monk in front right here. And Monk is going to do a pretty good job against the Knight. Going to log this Dart Goblin back right now. And Phoenix should hopefully put in work here. Gonna pop my Monk's ability if it comes down in time. Okay, sadly it doesn't, unfortunately. But Phoenix should do a decent job, and it should get at least a few hits. Okay, it does force the Knight out, which is not bad. I did waste my log, so I do have to be careful of this barrel. So I'm just gonna pre-cycle Fisherman and then like hover my goblins for the Goblin Barrel. It does go for a Dark Goblin, I'm just gonna goblins on it instead, I guess. And then I might just Zappies the barrel, I guess. So yeah, this is looking like a pretty hard matchup, actually. But Phoenix might be the key to winning this one. We'll see. I don't really want to cycle it in the back, though, because I guess I will, but let's see if he rockets it, because I feel like he might, honestly. Would be pretty interesting to predict a rocket as well. Does go for a barrel instead. Just going to go Zappies. Phoenix should take out the top left one, so yeah, perfect counter right there. And this could be a really nice rocket if I go RG, so I'm not going to give that to him. I'm just going to let it go. I could also go Monk, and that would do a pretty good job as well. But I just want to play it this way instead. And he does actually waste his Bomb Tower, so I'm going to go in. He also wastes his Knight, so I don't actually know what he has for this RG. Like, yeah, only Skeletons and Dark Goblin, both of which I can log off. I did miss one Skeleton, but he did an okay job at separating them. But I actually get quite a lot of damage because of that punish, so just kind of recognizing that he wasted his counter. And I'm just going to go Goblins here, and they're going to do okay, and then I'm going to set up for an RG push right here. Monk should do pretty solid against this Bomb Tower. I think I want to go in the right, and then use my Monk ability. So I'm going to go Monk ability right here. It will deflect the Dark Goblin shots. Okay, unfortunately the Monk died. Wow, that's unfortunate. Would have deflected this rocket back as well if it was alive, but still, Phoenix is there actually. I didn't see the egg, and Phoenix is born anew. So, just like that, Phoenix causing even more commitments on his end. I might have just missed that fireball. Okay, thankfully I didn't. Nice. And just like that, we basically won just by kind of being aggressive and punishing my opponent. I'm just going to Monk the bridge right now, because unless he blocks it, he can't stop the guaranteed damage. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he gave up, but even if he played like a Knight, look at this. That's still guaranteed damage. And so, I would have been able to pretty much just fireball his tower off after that. So, pretty ridiculous stuff right here. RG usually does get countered by Logbait, and that type of deck does really well against RG, I think, because, you know, Dark Goblin Bomb Tower is, I think, one of the best buildings against RG. I've seen people talking about it, so pretty hard stuff there, but Phoenix and Monk just kind of trivialize it again. So yeah, another nice win. Let's try and get our third win with the RG deck. Found our next match against Sylvia. Let's give them the good luck and see what's up here. I wonder how much damage goblins get if you cycle them at the bridge. I do want to play a bit passively and leak, but he's not playing anything, so I'll just go goblins. Let's see how much this does if he ignores it. Yeah, he's actually not going to ignore it, so just going to fisherman for the Valk. Could have actually gone monk there, because maybe I'll need the fisherman for like a hog or something, but we'll see. Valk doesn't tell me too much right off the bat, so I'm just going to split my zappies, I guess. And he does have an Inferno Dragon, so if I had to guess, I'm going to say this might be Graveyard, because Valk plus Inferno Dragon kind of does give me that feeling. And maybe I actually should have gone Phoenix at the bridge there, because I do have Zappy helping out, but it should be okay. Knight and Valk doesn't make any sense. Looks like it might just be some kind of weird deck. I'm actually just going to Fireball this, because I don't want the Phoenix to get taken out by the Inferno Dragon. I'd rather it take out my opponent's dragons instead. And unfortunately, I think it might not be reborn here, because it is going to die pretty close to the tower. So that is the one time it doesn't die. It looks like my opponent still wasn't ready for it though, and thought it might respawn. And this is the activation. This is the placement you want to use against a Hog Rider. One tile over from your King Tower, and that is how you activate King with a Fisherman against Hog. Also against something like a Royal Hogs, or just generally that placement. Golem as well, or Giant. He does go for a Valk, so I know he has Inferno Dragon in this deck. But I might actually just RG Phoenix with this set of Zappies right here, because he did commit to my Fisherman, and Phoenix will do a pretty good job, plus the Zappies will reset the Inferno Dragon. Or actually, look at that, Phoenix does so much damage that it actually took the Inferno Dragon out before it could really take out my RG, so I got quite a bit of damage right there. And he just uses Valk, so I'm actually going to bridge spam a bit with Goblins here, and Log, because I want the Goblins to tank for my Phoenix Egg. And he does have to waste arrows just because of that, so that was just pretty much a +1 trade if you think about it. And that is a play that is really nice, you know, when you're playing kind of a beatdown or a push offensive type deck with this card, with the Phoenix, you can play stuff on your opponent's side of the map just to force them to commit even more to your Phoenix Egg, because it will tank for the egg. That's something I noticed by watching someone else do that against me, actually, so... yeah, it does go for the lightning there. As you can see, Phoenix literally survives the lightning. Pretty overpowered card right there. And Zappies are going to do really well against lightning as well, because you can just stack them. So, going to get a Phoenix down, and then I'm going to go for an RG, because I do have Zappies down for the Inferno Dragon as well if I need it. I'm going to get my Log ready, because I know he has Skarmy. Going to pre-log, actually, predict the Skarmy. Okay, never mind, but still going to be a lot of damage, because and Phoenix actually dies, and as you can see, it nukes the entire Skarmy pretty much, so... that is going to be game, and this deck is ridiculous. I honestly really like my personal decision to include Zappies over Hunter in the deck, because I feel like, again, Zappies do so well, especially against Inferno Dragons, which are getting pretty popular, because they do well against Phoenixes, and Monks as well. So, yeah, that's going to be RG, guys. This is more of a... RG can be kind of a higher skill deck, in my opinion, because I still don't really know how to play it super well at a professional level. But I know it's pretty much everywhere in Clash Royale League by the best players. It's used a lot on top ladder, at least it was before this meta. Not sure what the best situation will be given the Phoenix and Monk right now, but... as you can see, there are versions with Monk and Phoenix that make RG work as well. So feel free to give this one a try if you like RG, or you just like more of a control type playstyle, where you can control units with the Fisherman, with Zappies, and kind of build up counter pushes. Whereas Splashyard is actually pretty similar, but it is also more control type. But I feel like it's just easier to play, honestly, because Graveyard doesn't take too much thought to, you know, just play Graveyard and poison with it. But anyways, final deck we have Minor Poison, and if you guys like B-Rad, I guess you'll like a deck like this, because, you know, Minor. But honestly, Minor is quite a strong card. I don't think it's weak at all. Definitely don't think it heals towers. I think that's a ridiculous statement to make. But yeah, we have this deck, and this was actually one of the first decks that came out in Grand Challenges when I won my 12 win with Monkbow on day 1 of the update. I went against a deck like this, very similar to this. Although I think he had Mirror instead of Skeletons or Delivery or something to mirror up the Phoenixes. But basically we have the Delivery because Delivery does great against Phoenix, and also against the Monk, because Monk doesn't deflect any of these spells actually. It doesn't deflect Poison, or Delivery, or an Inferno Tower's Beam. It does deflect a Log, but Inferno Tower will also do well against Phoenix, against Monk, against like heavy beatdown. And then if you have a Monk down, I actually forgot to talk about this, but with the 3-card cycle of the Monk, you can get really nice pushes and defenses going as well, because you can cycle so many things. So, for example, in Triple Elixir, you can spam minor poisons on your opponent's tower. Literally, if you have a Monk down, you have a 3-card cycle, so you go minor, poison, log, skeletons, already back to another minor poison, literally. So that's how fast it is. Or you can go like Phoenix, minor, log, skeletons, already back to another Phoenix, for example. You can also minor to counter push with the Phoenix. Minor will tank for the... You can have Phoenix tank for the minor, and then once the Phoenix dies, minor will tank for the Phoenix's egg. I think that's a pretty fun little thing. I'm honestly just saying this stuff off the top of my head because I haven't actually played these decks before. This is like my first time, except for Splashyard, because I've been having a lot of fun with Monk Splashyard. But I haven't played RG before, haven't played this deck before, but those are just some of the applications I can think about. And again, Delivery does very well. Poison does not get deflected by a Monk. And if you go against a bunch of other pump decks, you can use Minor or Poison. So this is more of a fast cycle. You could technically say higher skill, but you do have the Monk and Phoenix in here, so that's debatable as well. But yeah, let's play this deck, and let's try and get to Challenger 3 to end the video off. Anyways, hope you guys have been enjoying this video. I've honestly, like I said, I've been feeling pretty happy in general recently, so I'm having a lot of fun with videos and, you know, trying my best. And honestly, it's been pretty nice. So, when you see Barbs right away, I think I will poison them. This could be risky, of course, because he might have something I want to poison. But with the other cards in this deck, I don't think there's anything I can't really defend, as long as I play it right. So, I think this might be Lava Hound. And I think we hard counter Lava Hound if it is, because we have Phoenix, we have Delivery, we have Inferno Tower. Okay, we do see a Skeleton Barrel, so gonna pop my Delivery right now. And I did actually, oh god, I did miss one. So I'm gonna have to go for late Monk. That's on me, guys, my bad. But looks like it's just gonna be a clone spam deck, and so I will still have a really good matchup right here, because I have Poison, I have Delivery, and I have Inferno Tower if he has something like a giant skeleton or whatever. But as you can see, for only 1 elixir, Monk ability, putting in a lot of work. And it's nice. So, and it does actually get some damage on the tower as well. I don't think I want to cycle Phoenix. I think I want to save it for the Flying Machine, because I don't always want to poison the Flying Machine off. It does go for Barbs. I'm just going to poison now, I guess, and Delivery on the Flying Machine. And try and make the Inferno melt the Giant Skeleton as well as it can, which it does a pretty good job of. So this should be a really good matchup. It's just going to be one where I have to be very patient, because he has a lot of spam in this, and if I overcommit or do anything silly like that, I could get punished very hard. Or if I like make a micro mistake, it could be bad as well. But here I'm going to try out the play that I was talking about, where I get a Phoenix to tank for a Minor, and then I get the Minor to tank for the Phoenix after the Phoenix egg spawns. So, and as you can see, Minor did distract the Hunter, so Phoenix, even though it's point blank on the Hunter, it does distract, and this is exactly what I was going for. We did force the arrows out for literally no extra elixir, because the Phoenix only costs 4, you don't have to spend anything for the egg, so this is just a ridiculous card, honestly, but the synergy with stuff like that also works very nicely, I would say. Just going to pre-Inferno, I guess, kind of a weird cycle here, and then I'm just going to set up on defense again. If he goes for Flying Machine, I will just poison it off, and unfortunately we are going to see a maintenance break, which kind of sucks. I'm glad that I have been recording for a while though, so at least I gotten most of this video off. And I might honestly just end it on this one, because I don't really want to wait so long for the maintenance. We'll see how long it takes, I guess, but you guys get the gist of this deck. It's pretty similar to the other ones where you use the Monk and Phoenix for very solid defense, but it also works very nicely because you have some nice synergy with the Minor and the Phoenix, and it's more of just kind of a control cycle deck. He does go for the cannon card at the bridge. Not really worried about any of this. Actually should have popped my Monk ability right there. I'm still not used to the Monk in its entirety, of course, as you guys can tell, but it should be pretty nice once I just, like, honestly, the Monk can be reacted to, or can reactively defend a lot of stuff if I just, like, get used to it, because, like, you know, cannon cart, Hunter, it'll deflect all of that stuff, so I just have to get used to that play, and then it'll be pretty easy. But he is spamming again, so just poison on defense, not going to mess around with anything too fancy, and everything is going to be perfectly defended. Inferno Tower is also causing a lot of trouble for my opponent in this match. And like I said, this deck is a bit more of a slow play deck, or if I didn't, then I'm saying it now. You just want to kind of build up defensive advantages and then chip them out with minor poisons over time. I think he gave up now. Yeah, probably did, because it has been a pretty ridiculous game for him. Like, I'm pretty much just perfectly defending, or not really. I actually messed up quite a bit, but I have a very hard counter right there. But you guys can see how this deck can pretty much defend almost anything. If it was Lava Hound, it would be very easy. If it was Giant Double Prince or Giant Sparky, it would also be very easy. And if it was basically any beatdown, it would do well against. And against cycle decks, you can use the Monk to get the 3-card cycle to spam minor poisons, you know, out-chip them on defense. And yeah, so unfortunately, guys, we can't battle anymore because there is going to be a maintenance break. So that is a bit unfortunate. Okay, I can't even spectate my friends, unfortunately. I would have loved to see Betfist playing, because he's actually been doing really well. He actually reached Royal Champion already with Expo, with 3.0 Expo cycle, and a bit of Monk Bow earlier, but he's doing very well. Like, he's this high. So props to him, of course. He's obviously one of the best 3.0 players in the world. But yeah, it kind of sucks because we were actually 2 wins away from Challenger 3. Would have loved to get it in the video, but again, I don't think I can wait so long. I don't know how long the maintenance will take, actually. And I do want to go to the gym right now, because I want to go every Tuesday and Friday. I've been trying to do that for myself. So yeah, I guess that's going to be it, though, guys. I mean, you do get the idea of this deck, and I don't think you would have missed too much by me not playing 2 more games with the deck, because obviously I would have loved to showcase more situations, but the deck basically works like how I use it in that one. You just get nice defenses, you have all the defensive tools you'd ever need, you know, with Inferno Tower, delivery, poison on defense, and then Monk, and then just chip them out with minors. But yeah, these are going to be my 3 decks, guys, to share with you for the new meta, some of the best decks in my opinion. Of course, you can let me know if you have any decks you want me to try out or any suggestions. I would love that, because it's always nice to have viewer suggestions, of course. But yeah, absolutely feel free to give any of these 3 a try, depending on your playstyle. Again, I will link all of them in the description down below if you're interested, so you can just copy the deck. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it, though, guys. We had a pretty nice ladder push, and again, I know I've asked a few times, but let me know what you think about Path of Legends ladder pushes, because that's probably going to be my main format of ladder, at least, if people enjoy it. I might push on normal Trophy Road as well, just to get to 7.5k, like, once. But after that point, there's obviously not really anything to gain, because it just ends there, unfortunately. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys, so hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.